Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life, won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last. Mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, friends for
Are you aging gracefully? Do you think you are? Well, that's what we're going to talk about. Welcome to Make It Last podcast, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, with other people. And I'm speaking with somebody who can speak from her own experience. So, what it is? Why should one age gracefully? Ruth Yunker. She's an author, she's a humorist, and she writes about aging. Now, Ruth, for somebody who might have missed the other episode, how old are you?
73. Just had my birthday last week.
Wow. Wow.
I'm surprised too, really.
Say that again?
I said, I'm surprised I feel this wonderful at 73 too. I was a baby boomer. We were supposed to all die at 30.
Wow. So from your own experience, why should one age gracefully?
Well, I don't know if should is the right word. I probably should change that. Why would one want to age gracefully?
Fair enough.
Yeah. Why not? Okay. You want to age badly. Another way to put it is to age organically, but then people will say, oh, you're talking about the superficial stuff, but I'm not. I'm talking about the entire work that goes with aging. I've written a book. It's called, sorry, I should have had it over here. It's called Baby, I'm the Boss of Me. There, see.
Yeah. Okay.
On Amazon. And it's why one should try, or is because, for one thing, to age well, one of the biggest proponents of that is to keep your health as good as you could keep it. So it's keeping healthy is the first thing. Everything you put in your body affects your brain. The amount of exercise you get affects your brain, affects your mobility. Of course, there are going to be the times when you'll get sick that there's nothing you can do about it, or terrible tragedy, something like that. But I'm talking about the average person who, even up until that tragedy, worked on keeping themselves healthy. That's the first thing, and that'll help you age gracefully right there, standing straight instead of stooping over. I have arthritis. I've done a lot of exercise all my life. I'm a yoga. I totally believe in yoga for everything. But I have scoliosis, I have arthritis in my lower back, and I have to sit straight and all the time. And having this kind of infirmity, getting up in the morning takes me 10 minutes to work it all out, and then I go walk 2 miles, Having that sort of thing wrong helps one if you have chronic conditions like that aren't going to kill you, but are just kind of there, say asthma or diabetes or any of the kind of things you can somewhat control. That helps with helping you age gracefully, because aging gracefully first entails keeping yourself healthy. The second, and along with it will come, you have to keep yourself mentally healthy, which one of my things is keep being curious. Don't shut your mind down about something just because you don't understand it, or it's, and I'm talking about right there in your daily life, especially those of us who've raised children. We all know. Do you have children?
No, I don't. At least not biologically, but because I'm educated in my other life, I treat some of my students as if they're my own. So
exactly. Well, then you understand that you learn from them. There's nothing like the youth of today to look at you and say, hey, you don't know this yet? Even the other day, my son, who's a psychologist, and my daughter's a lawyer, so they did well, but we went through our periods in their early 20s where it wasn't the case. He said to me, are you aware of the fact, Mom, that you slough over words you can't be bothered to really get how you pronounce them correctly? They're usually proper names, or, I've been saying debacle incorrectly all my life. I always say, I don't know what I used to say. I now say it correctly. But he did that to me, You're not saying it right. And that kind of pulls you up to not sink into, I think people sink into, I certainly do, sink into my own head and my own space, and, can really wallow there. So it's sort of keep curious. And by curious, I mean, taking up new hobbies and stuff. But I also mean, again, like I said in the earlier one, pay attention to what you put in your house. Is it interesting? Do you love it still? Why is it there? Does it get up and run around at night when you're not looking? Like a few of mine, I'm convinced. I have a collection of kind of, anyway, little statues and stuff, and feels like they don't come alive. Of course they don't, but they could if they wanted to. I don't have any objections. I don't have any objections to ghosts either. Just leave me alone. That's all I say.
Okay.
But that's is kind of play, keep that inner child alive. People talk about the inner child, but she or he is really kind of there. People will ask me, it's a question that they like to say, what advice, particularly women do this, what advice would you give your 16-year-old self? Implying that you're going to say to her, oh, hey, listen, don't worry about how you look in a bikini. You look fine, or don't worry about, like that kind of thing, rather than my 16-year-old self would not have been interested in a thing I had to say to her. You can't tell a 16-year-old anything. So I turned that around.
That's true.
Isn't that true?
That's
they
true.
know it all. Yeah, Mom, yeah. So I turned it around, and in some that I was thinking about anyways, like, what would my 16-year-old self say to me today? What would she think of my life? What does she think about what I'm doing now? And in my case, I wanted to be a model when I was 16. I really wanted to be the girlfriend of a rock star, but it was sort of my headspace at that time. And I never did go on, try to model. It's New York. I'd traveled a lot in my childhood, moved a lot, and I just never gave it a go. But someone about 3 months ago said, you ought to give it a go now just to see what happens. And so I am. And it's commercial modeling, and it's a whole new world for me. I'm totally in over my head. My 16-year-old self would say to me, right on, thank you. And when I thought of that, that made me feel good. Again, as I said in the earlier one, all of this stuff, the aging gracefully, keeping humor in your life, it's up to you. It's up to the person. It's not up to me. And that person has to make a conscious effort. Therapy is very good. I totally believe in therapy.
I think we need to normalize it. I don't think we're quite there yet. I think the pandemic has helped somewhat to highlight that, but I don't think it's as normalized as it could be yet.
Oh, the therapy part?
Yes, therapy. Yeah.
I didn't believe it either. In it until years and years ago. The man I was marrying was in therapy, and he said, I'd really like it if you just at least try it out and see what you think. And particularly putting together his 2 children and my 2 children.
A blended family.
Therapy came in handy. And my son's a therapist, so anyway. But then getting back to it being your own self, the aging process, keep in touch with, ask yourself, what did my 16-year-old want? Am I proud of me right now? And you know what? You don't have to be proud of your past. I read a great thing the other day. I mean, there's parts of it, that I just cringe about. My 20s, I wasted my 20s. It read, don't judge me on the chapter of my life that you're meeting me in. So
Love that.
Isn't that wonderful?
Love that.
Yeah. And so don't judge ourselves. It took me a long time to forgive myself for wasting my 20s the way I did. I mean, I was married and all that, and it looked superficially okay, but it wasn't. And so I think, and it's also a gift you can give to the world by being the kind of person that people want to be around, that you want to be around, the collective feeling. I believe in sending out positivity. There's enough people saying, well, that's good, but over here, another boat sank. Yay. And over here, 10 boats didn't sink. Oh, that doesn't matter. The one that sank is the sad one, and let's go there. I mean, I don't like to do that. I think everything gets dragged down that way.
That's true. Aging, a lot of us dread aging, but as you would have noticed from the conversation, it's not something to dread. But we're going to continue the conversation after this short break when we get a word from our partners.
Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life won't live in the past. making it last.
You can't live your best life without a healthy immune system. Boost your immune system the delicious way with Zappy's organic juices and punches. Made from local produce with zero added sugar, our juices cleanse and revitalize your body as they boost your natural immunity. Try our delicious flavors. Beat It, Berry Bomb, Get Fresh, Ton Up, and Island Splash. Find us on Instagram at Zappy's Organics or call or send a WhatsApp message at 1-876-779-8910 to order today. That's 1-876-779-8910. Zappy's Organic Juices and Punches. Live your best life today.
For all your events such as educational forums, workshops, book launches, weddings, and more, contact Noreen Daly, the ultimate MC and event host. Visit noreendaily.com or follow her on Instagram at Noreen Daily Jam. Noreen Daily, creating long-lasting memories.
Does your business lack branding? Having difficulty realizing your vision? Look no further. Splinth Brand Design Consultancy specializes in developing personal and business brands. Services include strategic management, website creation, social media branding, and more. Visit them online at www.wearesplinth.com. Splinth, the brand you need to succeed.
Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives, sisters and brothers, friends for life won't live in the past. All I wanna do now is making it last.
Are you aging gracefully? Well, if not, let's continue the conversation and you will get some tips on just how to do that. Welcome back. I think, though, that a lot of people actually dread getting older.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened with you? Why at this point? I don't sense that you have that dread like a lot of people have. So what could you say to some of us who will get older and we want to not, well, let me use myself as an example. At my age, I'm quite fine where I am. I'm quite comfortable. A lot of people tell me sometimes that you don't look your age. And I think a lot of that because I'm around young people a lot. So I laugh a lot and I try more and more. I'm trying to just slow down and not take on too much with the added stress because those things allow you to age. But for people who actually really dread getting older, Ruth, what could you say to somebody to help them on that journey, not to dread it and for them to actually embrace aging?
Well, first I'll let them off the hook by saying I didn't expect to feel this good or look this good at this age. And I do believe in all the beauty stuff. So for all you women out there, I believe in all of it, as much as you can do if you want to. My daughter's natural, she's 42, she's a lawyer. Well, her hair is her thing, so.
Okay.
But I think what happened for me is exactly what I saw happen with my parents. I never worried about getting older as much, except that one time when I was 19, I suddenly realized I was going to be an elderly, old person, and I fell into a panic attack at 19.
Wow.
And when I came out of that, I said, look at Marlene Dietrich. She lived to be 80 million years old and looked fabulous. You're going to be like Marlene Dietrich. That's what I told myself. But I think as you go along in life, or certainly I do, it just becomes more, it's just who you are. Your age is who you are. And it happens organically. I mean, I'm 73. I say in the second part of my book, I call it my journey to ageless, because when I turned 70, I didn't even want to say anything on social media like, oh no, I'm 70, or oh, I'm 70. And everyone would say, oh my God, you look so great, that kind of thing. Because I was horrified at being 70.
Wow.
But also pragmatic. Because what could I do? And I was still alive, and that was the bottom line. But then all of a sudden I was 71. And then like, bam, I was 72. And I woke up that morning, and that was the moment that the word ageless really meant something to me. And I didn't even know, I didn't feel any different I mean, I feel different from if I try to bring my self back to when I was 30 and had 2 babies under the age of 2 and getting divorced, but I don't want to go back there. But I realize that your age is just a number, and this is easy to say, and I don't buy it either, but I'll say it, it's just a number. But the closer I realized, the other day I was worried about something. It's a circle thing, something I worry about in a circle. Here it comes. Oh, here it comes again. I'm worried. That's money. I was worried about money. Oh, I'm worried about money. Oh, I'm worried. And I suddenly said to myself, I looked in the mirror and said, you know what? You're 73 years old. You're that much closer to death than you ever have been in your whole life. And you're still going to go down these last years worried about money. And it's never, ever happened. And you have backup plans and everything else. You get more pragmatic about it. I remember my mother just kind of shrugging like, yeah, I'm, whatever age, doesn't bother me. I feel good. I think the better you feel physically and how much you're willing to work on that, find out what vitamins you need, eat the proper diet, get exercise, you have to work on it. When you see an elderly couple and they're out and they're dressed in their clothes and they're standing straight, man, I know what they are going through to get there. And a couple of times I'll go up and say, without trying to sound like I'm being patronized, because now that I'm old enough, I can say this, you look fantastic. And most of the time they just kind of say, well, thank you, darling. And off they go, fall on their face. But it's like that again. It's an inside job. You have to do it yourself. And believe me, I have learned the hard way. I go to bed at night and I'm alone in my bed. Who am I going to cry to when I've been traveling in Europe by myself and the airport is closed down and you can't get from here to there, or, my apartment, whatever. I don't have anybody I can start crying to and say, help, no, I just have to calmly, and yoga helps with this, and say, okay, what are your options? What can you do? You can always just sit down in a corner and eat something. Eating is very good.
You're a foodie. You're a foodie.
I love food. I'm already thinking, what am I going to have?
Okay. As we're wrapping up and concluding, what's the one thought that you'd really like to just leave with those who will watch this and those who will listen to this? What's the one thought you'd like to say? Hey, if you've got nothing from this conversation, this is the idea right here. What is that idea?
I think it would be something like, just remember, you are beautiful. You're intelligent. You have the strength within you. It is all there in you. You can be happy and you can have what you want. But also on the side, don't make it something impossible that you could never get.
Yes.
Yeah, something that you really can get. But just remember, you're beautiful. Inside and outside. I used to tell that to my children, including my son when he was 3. One time said, am I always going to be beautiful? And I said, yes, you are. He is. He's a great looking guy. Has no hair. Shaved it all off. Like you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Ruth, for sharing.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you. This was Make It Last podcast, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, with other people. I'm Noreen Daly. Until next time.
Husbands and wives.